He knew his calling. He knew why he had come. He had a purpose. And so he commits to that. Even though there were many important things and maybe even seemingly urgent things, Jesus stayed on mission, ultimately for the greater good and the glory of the kingdom. But what we see is that Jesus was deeply loving, but he was never controlled or manipulated or exhausted by people because he knew his mission and he knew how to stay focused. He was staying focused. So does everybody agree that Jesus drew some boundaries? Like, how do we do this in practice? So I've got 3 different ways that we can start to build boundaries into our lives. And the first one is learn to say a loving no. Now, some of you are really good at saying no, by the way. Because whenever I'm like, hey, will you do this? You're like, no. All right. But you can't say yes to everything. That's the reality. You can't say yes to everything because if you say yes to everything, you're not able to say yes to the right things because you're saying yes to the wrong things. And that's why I think it's important. So we need to learn how to say certain phrases like, I can't commit to that right now. That's a helpful phrase. Or I am not able to help this time. Or that's not something I can take on. Like these are helpful ways to say no. And you're doing it because you're trying to develop boundaries. Number 2, stop taking responsibility for what isn't yours. Stop taking responsibility for the things that are not yours to carry. You are not responsible for other people's emotions. Can't control that. Right? You can't control that. You're not responsible for other people's choices, and you're not responsible for fixing everyone's problems. And then 3rd, we have to prioritize time with God and rest. In the Gospels, 9 specific times, the Gospel writers, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they place a little note just to let everybody reading the Gospels know how Jesus did this. And what we see is that Jesus often withdrew from the crowds to spend time in prayer. He withdrew, he withdrew from these large gatherings of people where he was preaching powerfully and people are responding to that. And he would withdraw from those moments and he would spend time praying to his Father. And he again is the example that we should have, isn't he? Like, isn't he setting forth a model for us to learn from? Because again, I don't think, and I've said this many times, I don't think we can give away what we don't have.